is going on, everybody? It is your boy Arrows, and we're back. We are doing Riftbound content because I am super excited for this game. I think it is fantastic. I love the art. I love the style. I like where they are going with this. So let's get into it. We're going to cover right now we're doing, this is just, the next few videos for this are just, for this game for me, are just going to be covering the Proving Grounds leaders, legends, leader legends, starters, we'll call them starters. The Proving Ground starters, Annie, Master Yi, Lux, and Garen. We're going to be covering them in not really any particular order. I guess we're going alphabetical since I started with Annie. So we're going to talk about the cards. We're going to talk about leader and the signature. We're going to talk about the ability. We're going to be talking about the champions. We're going to talk about some key cards that they can work with going forward. So let us get into this. Let's go. It is go time to get into the video. So starting off, we're starting with Annie. Like we said, Annie, Dark Child. I love this starter. I love the starter. I think this is so good. At the end of your turn, ready 2 runes. At the end of your turn, take 2 of your exhausted runes and ready them. That gives you an additional 2 what do we call it? Mana CP power. Gives you an additional 2 mana going into your opponent's turn, which is really great for casting cards like Gust and Disintegrate and Incinerate, and just a bunch of great cards that you can use in showdowns, which is fantastic, which is what you want. You want to be able to give yourself added advantages in those showdowns, and I definitely think this card is a really good starter for that, allowing you to untap 2 runes on top of whatever you already have left over from the turn. Don't forget cards like the seals will let you tap for rune power as well, which is really cool. Annie's signature card is a unit, in fact, and it is Tibbers. Look at him. He's adorable, and I'm going to rip your face off kind of way. 8 cost, 7 might, recycle a red and a purple, which is fine. Not the end of the world. When you play him, deal 3 damage to all units on the battlefield. That is really good. If your opponent has a monopoly on battlefields, Victor likes to make the tokens. Wipe out the tokens. Your opponent has a bunch of low-cost guys in the early game, and you can get this out earlier somehow. Beautiful. Your opponent has absolutely nothing on those battlefields, and you can come in and take them relatively easy. Tibbers, and he's 7 might, so he's going to take some hits, and I think that is really good. I like this combination of a powerful ability on a powerful card that honestly isn't too broken, because in the mid to late game, 3 might not be a lot of damage. But with Annie Fiery, we can increase that. Now, keep in mind that how I'm reading this might be different than how it actually is. So if anybody who is more knowledgeable in this game than if you have any suggestions, if I'm wrong in what I'm about to say, please let me know. Annie Fiery is a 5-cost champion. Recycle a red rune, 4 might, solid stat, solid ability, solid price. The ability, though, is fantastic. I don't know why I said solid ability. Ignore me. Your spells and abilities deal 1 bonus damage. Each instance of damage they deal is increased by 1. So how I read this is, when we'll say we play Tibbers, we get to deal 4 damage to everything on the battlefield, which is super good. Like, super good. If you can have this champion on the field when you play Tibbers, you are doing amazing. But even still, being able to do that 1 extra damage to things is really, really, really good. And then, not to be outdone, is Annie Stubborn, a purple champion, 4 cost, 3 might, recycle a purple rune back to your deck, back to your rune deck. When you play me, you may return a spell card from your trash to your hand. Purple and red have a ton of good spell cards. Just going off of like what you can do with Annie in this color scheme, not even talking about like other purple combinations that have other really good cards that you can recycle in. For example, Misfortune, if they were to play this Annie, could recycle more mobilize, add more mobilize to hand. You could add more Catalyst of Aeons, Confront. You could add in Challenge. Like there's a ton of really good things here. Green can add back Defy. Counter spells are really fun. Rune Prison to stun a unit. Like there's a lot of really cool things you can do with this card, but in its like chosen color combination, you can recycle Disintegrates, you can recycle Rebuke, you can recycle Invert Timelines to make your opponent discard their hand and draw cards. You can recycle Gusts, you can recycle Void Seeker, which is a card I should have put on which is another card we're going to talk about here in a second. There's a ton of good recyclable options with this card, and I love it. Like now getting into some of the key cards. These are, now I'm just going off of damage. I'm not even going off of like the other great spells you can use with Annie. Like this is for like key cards specifically for like the red champion. Like we have Incinerate, which is coming out in the Proving Grounds product. Deal 2 damage to a unit out of battlefield. With the champion, that's going to be 3. For 6 and recycle of Red Rune, you get Firestorm. Deal 3 to all enemy units at a battlefield. That's going to be 4 if you can keep the champion on the field. Disintegrate does 3 to a unit on the battlefield. If it kills it, draw a card. You're going to do 4 to a unit at a battlefield. Draw a card. Sky Splitter, which you can reduce by might cost. The red champ Anti-Fiery is a 5, so you're going to reduce it by 5. So there's 3. And a rune. Deal 5 damage. That's 6 damage to something. You have it Get Excited. Discard a card. Deal its energy cost as damage to a unit at a battlefield. Do an extra 1 on top of that. That is really good because it's going to keep clutch cards in your hand, and you can discard maybe some smaller cards with that extra damage. And then you have Void Seeker. Deal 4 unit to a damage. Deal 4 to a unit at a battlefield. Sometimes this game is really hard to read the cards for. Draw a card. Deal 5. Draw a card. There is a ton of amazing possibilities here with Annie, specifically Anti-Fiery. But like Annie Stubborn gets these cards back to be reused, which is like super good. And then there's other cards that you can ping things for 1 damage. That'll be good against stuff like Victor if they're not at the battlefield. That gives you an additional might for your units. You can ping those. You can ping those what are they called? Those tokens with cards like Gust. When you bounce something big, ping a token for 1. Cards like Rebuke. Blow something up at a battlefield. Deal something else 1. There's a ton of potential with Annie. I think she's really good. Personally, I think out of all of the leaders so far, I think she is going to be probably the one that people mess around with the most. Me personally, Lux and Garen are 2 of my favorite league champions, so I'm going to be messing around with them first. But there is definitely, I think, a spot for Annie in the meta, and I'm really excited for it. Now, some of these chosen champions that are coming out in Proving Grounds, they have champion starters that are in that same color. So we're going to talk about them by comparison. And for red and purple, you have either Annie right now or Jinx. So as far as I know, Proving Grounds is being released at the same time as Origins and the trial deck. So if you want to play red purple, are you playing Annie or are you playing Jinx? Honestly, it's entirely up to you. I think the deck will change. Obviously, Jinx, you want more cards that get powered by discarding. More cards that discard, so you can use her ability to draw an extra card on your turn. Annie is, I think Annie is more presence on board control than Jinx is. Jinx is very early aggro, coming in hot, coming in fast, and then blowing stuff up with the rocket. Whereas I personally feel like Annie is more of a control-based legend, being able to, in showdowns, keep your opponent at like a real minimum of what they can do to you with cards like Firestorm, Tubbers, Anti-Fiery doing extra damage. Like I feel like you're gonna get more like control out of Annie than you are Jinx, but of course I am wrong. I could be wrong. I'm very new to this card game. I guess everybody's new to this card game. Other people who are more experienced in other card games could look at this and see, and I'd be like, man, this guy is way off his rocker. What is he talking about? But I'm just really excited to play both of these. We're going to try Jinx. We're going to try Annie. We're going to be streaming Riftbound as often as we can. We're going to be recording content for it as often as we can. I think this game is fantastic. I'm really excited for it. But let me know what you guys think. If you're going to play Red Purple, are you Team Annie or Team Jinx? Are there any other great, cool combination of cards out there that you think will work really well with Annie? Like I said, a lot of what we covered here was just in the color combinations. You could run Annie Stubborn in Jinx, Loose Cannon, and you can recycle cards that make you discard. You can recycle the Rocket multiple times in a turn because you can recycle it with Annie, and then you can recycle it off its own effect when you conquer. There's a ton of potential with these two Annie cards. The Fiery, if you want to put in other red-based decks, you can even run it in here. Do ping damage when you do other things with Jinx cards. I think what this character comes with has a lot of potential, not just in her own deck, but in other decks as well. But let me know what you guys think. I'm off my rocker. Did I just spout nonsense for like 11 minutes about nothing at all? Let me know. Don't forget to like the channel, ding the notification bell to subscribe. Check me out on all my socials. We're talking about Riftbound there. Riftbound. I don't know why I keep calling it Riftborn. Riftbound there so often. I'm really excited for this game. And now that we have these Proving Ground legends, I'm even more excited than I was before because I'm really excited to see what we can do with these cards. Check me out on Twitch. We stream as often as we can. It's a little bit harder to keep a stream schedule in the summer because, like we said, I don't really have the ability to have AC where I stream, so it does get really hot really quickly. I am dying right now, but we got to try to bring you guys this content as often as we can, as quick as we can. Stay safe out there, my friends. Have yourselves a great day. Go out and play some card games because they're a really good time. Bye.